Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we are working on our hand-rolled Wayland client, and today's task is trying to figure out how do we render OpenGL buffers between applications. So the context here is that we've been kind of working on trying to understand like the Linux graphics stack, and one piece of that stack is like window creation. And so we've kind of been looking at a Wayland client that we've been kind of hand rolling. And so like the idea behind Wayland is that you have some like process that's drawing all of your windows, right? Your window manager. In our case, this is kwin, right? So that's the guy that's like drawing like this window here. kwin, he's got like a little socket on him, and we connect to that socket with our application app. And all we do here is we speak Wayland over this connection. Wayland. And Wayland also defines like where this socket is going to exist, as well as like behaviors that the compositor kwin and our application should follow. But generally, Wayland is not really much of anything. It's just kind of like a set of rules for how you can talk to each other, so that we can also run our app on like mutter, which is like the GNOME jeez, the GNOME version of this window manager, right? And so like you can have different window managers, you can have different apps, and they can all speak to each other, and that's all great. What we have right now is we have this thing. A little window pops up, and look, we're like drawing stuff in him, and we're kind of going from dark to light and dark to light. Now, what's kind of strange here is you might say, aren't we done? Like, what are we gonna, oh, geez, ow, 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 geez, I'm so sorry. It's broken a little bit. But you might ask, what do we have to do? Like, what is there more work to be done? And the answer is, this is all done rendering using shared memory. So what happens is, we create a shared memory buffer. This guy, we like give him a file descriptor with, he gets a file descriptor with memfd create, and we can like send this file descriptor over to the compositor. We have kind of like two of these guys kind of like stacked like this, right? And we basically kind of alternate which offset into this buffer we're going to be using for drawing. And that works fine, except this is like pretty slow, right? Because you're drawing to each pixel in like CPU memory. So what would be interesting is if we could figure out, well, can we draw this stuff into a GPU texture, transfer it to another process with no overhead of copying back to the CPU? That's kind of the goal. And this is possible. There is this Linux feature called DMA buff, which basically says for any device using the Linux graphics driver infrastructure, you can get a file descriptor that represents the GPU memory of this thing. And so what you can do is if you're rendering with OpenGL, you can use this thing called EGLImage. Actually, I think they have it here. You can use an EGLImage to basically import a DMA buff into a texture, I believe. Or at the very least, I'm pretty sure that you can do EGLImage texture export. I know at the very least, you can create an EGLImage from a texture, right? And so presumably, you can turn an EGLImage into a texture as well. I haven't actually gone all the way down that way, but at the very least, you can create one from a DMA buff. And so the theory here is that we will run an application with OpenGL. What am I trying to find here? We will like make, instead of doing this, screw that. We're gonna make a texture in an OpenGL app. We are going to turn this into a EGLImage. Image, right? And then that is going to go into a file descriptor. Then it's going to go over the wire to compositor, kwin. This is the plan. And in order to get there, I believe a sane set of steps will be one. Let's try to bisect. Say we go through all this work, and it doesn't work, right? It would be really hard for us to know which part of this pipeline is broken. So we want to try to like break down as much as we can. So I think that we're going to try to do like an EGL plus Wayland app, because like this is kind of like then you could kind of have like EGL here to kind of like confirm that we can in fact draw stuff with OpenGL in here. Then I think that we can try kind of making a texture and proving to ourselves that we can like extract that texture and render it to the screen or something. Maybe we'll put like an image into a quad on the screen or something. Then we can try like exporting that to an EGLImage and re-importing it in the same application, or maybe through a different application. Then we will try creating a file descriptor of this thing and sharing it manually with Kwin. And we will see how that goes. We'll see how it goes. I'm not 100% sure that this works the way I think it does, so we'll see how much of a pain it is, but hopefully it will go smoothly. Hopefully that will go smoothly. So I was looking online for like, has somebody written an EGL Wayland app? And I found this looked like the best example. I think it's fair for us to kind of start with something that renders, does like EGL in C, because they're going to use libwayland. If I understand correctly, Wayland, he has like actual support inside him for EGL. EGL is like a thing that he supports, and EGL kind of inside him supports Wayland. So there's kind of like an implicit binding of these guys through libwayland, right down here. They're kind of both speaking through this like libwayland library. And so there's kind of like an assumption in here that you are using libwayland in order to get a graphics context in a Wayland window, right? We can see this in this example where there's this like Wayland EGL thing, and when they actually do this like initialization, they actually have a function in libwayland WLEGL window create, and this will then be used to construct like a graphics context that they actually have to go through this like platform extension. I think it's like Wayland platform extension EGL. I'm pretty sure. I don't really. Here we go. EGL KHR platform Wayland or X platform Wayland. I'm not sure which one of these it is. Probably KHR sounds more familiar. But this basically says like, hey, if your implementation of OpenGL supports this, then you can just cast your Wayland object into a EGL native display type, right? So they take like a EGL window here, and they're just like, fuck it, like we'll make it whatever we want, which is just like a void star essentially, right? And so EGL has to support your windowing system. So if we have our Wayland windowing system in our example code, or like in our like prototype, whatever we want to call what we're working on right now, it doesn't use this. So like, what the fuck are we supposed to do? Well, we'll probably end up doing some sort of like off-screen rendering, and then sharing the things manually ourselves. But anyways, that's just like a little bit of background here. Anyways, so I figure if we're trying to get a simple thing up and running, let's start by working in C, right? Let's just kind of like scrap our existing thing. Let's just get a fucking OpenGL context on this thing. So I believe he kind of says, hey, this is how I generate this thing. So part of like the way like the Wayland apps work is they define a bunch of like their protocols in these like XML files, right? For example, this Linux DMA buff one. This is not linking correctly. Let's try maybe this one. I wonder what's taking. Oh, he's just, dude, it's just a slow website. Got it. But this defines like the API that you can use to talk in an XML file, and libwayland will like parse this XML and generate C code. We parse this code and generate Zig code. So if we look at let's just go back to our example real quick. We have this like WL bindings file, and this is completely generated code. So we like look at this XML file and we say like, oh, I see an interface in here called WL display. So we like will create a struct called WL display, and he has a request sync. And so we will make a function called sync, and we will like look at his arguments, and we will create a struct out of those arguments and pass them in, right? Why was I talking about this? I don't remember. Oh, right. So in order to compile this example, they have some protocols that are sitting around in some XML, and we have to generate C code and header files out of these headers. So I believe that means that we actually need Wayland. We're going to need Wayland protocols as well, and we are probably also going to need GL and Mesa probably for this example. I think it's called libgl. We're going to need all these things. So let's just get those in the environment. Give him a sec. He's thinking. He's thinking. He's still thinking. So let's, maybe we'll make a makefile here. It's probably the simplest way to do this. And we'll be like, okay, so in order to generate XGG shell C, we are going to run this. In order to generate XGG shell H, we're going to run this. And this is going to come from some like fucking weird spot. So I'm actually going to do this. Because in Nix, it's going to be in like some like bullshit location. So let's do env grep wayland protocol. And we're going to ls this and look for this. And it was under stable XGG shell. So we're going to copy this just locally. And then we can continue on. So we now have these things, and then he says compile these things individually. I'm not going to do that. Fuck you. You can't tell me what to do, sir. This is my computer. So I'm just going to call this like test, and this depends on XGG shell C and XGG shell H. And I think you have to write test up here at the beginning just to make sure that's like the first rule. And then we're going to run zig cc instead of gcc, and we're going to say output test, and we're going to take in XGG shell C and EGL on wayland C. We're going to link against this stuff, and I guess we'll just see what happens. Missing separator. Oh, here probably. No rule to make XGG shell 1L. That's true. So here he generated the scanner. Okay. So we have test now. Now he says listener function for opcode 2 of XGG top level is null. I did experiment with this yesterday just to make sure that we had like a good example. And it turns out that he does register some callbacks for XGG top level here. But if we look at the definition of XGG top level listener in here, this has 4 function pointers, and this only has 2. So it's just that probably this demo was generated before these things were added to it, would be my guess. My guess is for its different version. That would be my guess. So we're just going to implement these functions to do nothing because fuck it. We're not really trying to get anything crazy. We're just trying to get something that kind of works. So we're going to fix this. So we're going to say this is top level configure bounds, static void. And we'll just kind of leave this implementation undefined, empty, I guess we should say. And we'll call this. And we'll just kind of slap these functions in here. So the difference between like our version of the Wayland client and this version is the lib Wayland kind of defines everything like callback based, right? So they have this like function XGG top level add listener that calls WL proxy add listener, right? And this sets some callbacks that will be called when XGG top level is used, right? So when we get a message from like the other side that says XGG top level do this thing, we will call these functions. Our version of this handles things a little differently. So if we look for like XGG top level here, we have this kind of like set as like an enum somewhere, and we just get like a packet from the other side, and we say, okay, we'll parse this packet as an XGG top level now, and then we'll do what we need to do based on this thing. So we do everything like in line. They do everything as callbacks. Which I'm not really a big fan of, to be honest. I'm not a big fan of, because if you're trying to do like initialization through callbacks, you need to like pass this like state around or like use globals, and it's just like kind of a pain. Like I like it when things just go boom, top to bottom. Let's fucking run it. So anyways, that's why they were mad, is because like the internals of the wayland callback system, we're like, what the fuck? This is a null pointer. And it's like, well, you know, in our case, we would just ignore those events. But anyways, let's try again. I guess we should also say that this depends on EGL on wayland.c. That's important. But it looks like it's running everything every time anyways. Oh, because these guys don't have their, not that it matters, but now I think that we won't. No, it's rerunning everything every time. I don't fucking care. But here, we have a little blue window. Look at us go. Look at us go. So it looks like this demo application is working. It is working. To be honest, WL proxy has a user data point you can set wherever you want, and pretty much any callback you just set WL proxy get user data or whatever WL should work on. Yeah, I understand that, but it's like just like a pain in the ass because it's, yeah, it's just I don't like it as much. So to prove to ourselves that things are working correctly, we can try setting the color buffer here. So basically all they're doing in this demo app is they're running GL clear color. So if we were to set this to like 255, 1.0, 1.0, 1.0, we should see a white buffer if we make first, right? So we see a little white box, nice. And if we set it to, you know, red with this, we see a red buffer. So we are pretty chilling. We have some sort of confidence that this is in fact making a EGL plus Wayland app. And so it's probably worthwhile to just spend a little bit looking at what they're doing just to make sure that we're on the same page. So this Wayland Connect looks kind of similar to what we were doing. They get a registry, which is like list all the interfaces that the Wayland supports. He adds a listener that will probably, he basically looks for the compositor and XEG base and binds them if necessary. Okay. This round trip, I believe, just says like run the event loop until like there's nothing else to do right now. So by the time this is run, then he knows that those global, these like state variables that he set as a input parameter here, these should be set at this point. So then he says, give me a WM base listener, which basically responds to pings with pongs, which is what we did as well. He creates a surface, an XGG surface, and when he gets configure events on those surfaces, he acts them. Again, we did all of that. He gets a top level window and he sets the title and he says, well, when you say stuff, I'm going to maybe respond to those things. Nothing too crazy, nothing too crazy. Then he does his EGL initialization. This is new to us at this point. So here he creates an EGL window from the surface. I believe this is probably the WL surface. Yes. So where does this come from? This comes from Wayland EGL core. So these are like functions that exist in Wayland's implementation. And he says, okay, I'm going to, what is display here? WL display. So he says, I have a connection to the EGL. I have a connection to the Wayland client. Here is his top level thing. EGL, go fucking crazy. So that's what this EGL get display is. And this is because EGL knows about Wayland under the hood. It knows how to interpret this thing. Presumably this EGL get display is like finding himself in some Wayland context. I'm not quite sure how that happens, to be honest. What does this function do? Why does your window have decorations and his doesn't? Did you implement the server-side decoration protocol in your Zig program? Yeah, so in our version, all we have to do is when we bind interfaces, he's only looking for display and registry. We are just oh, here we go. He is only looking for, sorry, compositor and WM base. We just also look for ZXDG decoration manager, and if you bind this thing, it automatically sets itself up. Yeah. So what does EGL get display do? What does it do? So obtains the EGL display connection for the native display. The behavior of EGL get display is similar to get platform display, but is specified in terms of implementation specific behavior rather than platform specific extensions. As for EGL get platform display, EGL. So I wonder if EGL get display is defined in like Wayland EGL or something. Right? Because like how does it know how does it know that the thing we're passing in is a wayland window is not clear to me. Not clear to me. So can we do like LDD test, and can we look at what is in this? This does not look like the thing. We could look at libEGL as well. EGL get display is what we're looking for, right? I guess we don't know where this is defined. I guess we could look at maybe in the Mesa source code. We could take a quick little peek. So I think we have the Mesa source code checked out here under our like build root stuff from when we were working on our when we were looking at testing 3D acceleration of a virtual machine. We cloned Mesa and built it to get it in the user space of the virtual machine. So it should be in here somewhere. And can we look at like can we look for EGL get display? So it looks like this was implemented here, and it looks like they call get native platform. Aha. So they try to detect the native platform from environment, which we are probably not giving. No, we are not. Oh, probably here we should check. Okay, so that's not where it's getting it from. It is not getting it from env. So now it's trying to detect a native display. Oh, this is kind of fun. So if have wayland pointer, dude, that's crazy. So it looks like my grep was wrong. I think I fixed it. I'm not sure. But anyways, here they are checking if it is the same as the pointer to the fucking static variable WL display interface. That's crazy. So this is how they detect the platform. Okay. That, I guess, makes sense. It's kind of wild. So this EGL get display is doing some fancy schmancy shit. Isn't the environment wayland rather than EGL, which is what you grep for most recently? I was looking for the implementation of this EGL get display function. So I think I found what we want, in that EGL get display is interpreting this display parameter as a wayland platform argument. And I was trying to figure out how the fuck does it know it's wayland? And the answer is because this pointer just happens to match another pointer. Right? They're just like, you know, they're just like, here you go. Anyways, that's how they do it. Okay, so here they say, I've run some internal code in here. So they find the platform wayland, which must be used to basically, this must be used to map to some platform interface. Right, so what did they do here? They went in here and they said find display. So they get the platform, given the platform. Right, so here, they must switch on this behavior somehow. Case, here we go. Right, so here they know to initialize wayland, and yeah, okay, sure. So they get a wayland display. And they initialize, where I think EGL initialize is like, could I find, like, give me, what does this do? Not really clear what this does, but we can imagine that it has to be initialized. I believe that this is not setting up everything that you need for OpenGL. I think this is more like things that you need, I guess, to run the rest of your EGL stuff. So choose config. So here, if I remember correctly, there might be like, if you have like 4 graphics cards, right? And each graphics card can be used in like different modes. This EGL choose config will help you find the graphics card or the OpenGL context that will support the features that you need. So generally, like what you do here is you just find a list of attributes that you care about, and he finds a configuration that matches those things. And once you found that configuration, then you can create a window out of the thing. So the display is kind of more like, I think it's more like graphics card or something. I can't remember the exact mapping. And this is like, okay, we actually have like something that we can render on. And so then they create a context, and then they make the context the current context, which basically says like, okay, so when I call like GL draw arrays, right? There's like somewhere under the hood, this binds into like a graphics card specific call. And so EGL make current, if I understand correctly, is like where that binding happens. He goes, hey, I'm a Wayland display working with this DRI graphics card, so I will set up the backend to work with that, and now when you call OpenGL stuff, it will go there. And then he's just ready to fucking run it, right? So after that, he's just like, I'll fucking draw stuff. Simple. Simple, simple, simple. So I think we're fucking chilling there. We have a little Wayland example, and I think that I would like to kind of extend this example a little bit to render to a texture. So we can kind of use this as a playground for, if we were to render, we can use this as like a way to generate a texture that we will then try to share with another process for testing. I think that makes sense. Mizuno, thanks for the tier 1. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Okay, so let's start by trying to render to a texture. So maybe, let me think about this for a second. Let me think about this. So I think what I want to do is like, typically you have like window, right? And he's coloring in this window blue, right? We kind of want to make it so that we draw to this stuff like in a buffer somewhere that isn't actually the window, so that we can then extract this buffer and send it away. So I think what we want to do is maybe let's try to do like a 2-stage pipeline where we render to some texture and then we display that texture just in the app. So maybe we'll do like render blue, and then we will try to display that blue like inside the window somewhere. Hey man, what exactly do you do? Also, I don't understand any of this. I'm familiar with basic sysadmin shit like partitions and user management. How do I understand what you're doing? How can I learn about this? I learn stuff by just doing stuff. So I would say just fucking run it. Like, find some stuff you want to try and do it. That's how I do this. So what do I do? Right now I do nothing. I do this. Anyways, what am I trying to do? I want to do this. So I believe there's this like, there's like a way to like render to texture OpenGL. And I think that what you usually do is you attach a frame buffer. I think it's something like there's the concept of a frame buffer. And this is like where like render calls go to. And then you can kind of like set the backing of this frame buffer to a texture. Text, right? Something like this. And so I think that we should be able to render this thing and then make another thing that takes in this texture and presents it. So maybe we split this into 2 parts. I think that probably makes sense. We'll split this into 2 parts. One part is like trying to figure out how to like render a thing on a quad inside our application. Then we'll deal with generating the texture later. Or, yeah, I think that's fine. So in order to render stuff to a texture, can we just get like a, this is stuff that the idiot's good at. Could I get a quick OpenGL example of rendering a quad? With vertices hard coded in the vertex shader. Sure. Below is a simple OpenGL. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Okay. So he's doing it with GLW. I don't really care about that. I more want to see this stuff. Create shader, shader source, compile. You do that for both the vertex and the fragment shader. Then you compile, you link the program, use the program. Here, you don't need an array object. He's a lying piece of shit. So he just didn't do what I asked. Well, he kind of did, because he's using GL vertex ID in here, which is kind of also what I was looking for. This stuff is unnecessary. He's just confused because every single OpenGL example he's seen in the entire world uses vertex buffers and vertex arrays. But you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. So let's just kind of copy this. Okay. So it looks like we don't have, well, it either looks, fuck. How do I get like newer OpenGL headers? Is it just like GL2 or something? Or do I don't really want to go through, I don't really want to go through like bindings generators. In later OpenGL versions, you do need a VAO ROC, even if you don't need to use it though. Oh, interesting. Why? If there's no input parameters. Oh, maybe it gets mad if like the buffer sizes don't match up or something. I seem to remember there being like a OpenGL headers that we can include to get like a newer version. Like, can we look at like env grep GL? And can we just look at like this? I seem to remember that there's GL. Am I looking for glx.h? Can we just like grep this for GL compile shader GL core arb as well as glx. Is glx what I want? Can't remember. Can't remember. You need to use a loader. I think that I don't need to use a loader. That's kind of like what I'm remembering. But I could be wrong. Let's just try pulling in glx and just see where that goes. Let's just see. Call to undeclared program GL compile program. Okay. GL use program. Fine. GL core arb, maybe. Expected expression. Okay, sure. So let's just go like this for a second, just to see if it like compiles and links. Fine. We'll use a fucking GL bindings generator. You need to find GLX prototypes. GLX. Nice. That's what I'm looking for. Nice. Thank you. Much better. Okay. Sick. So and then I want to, like, how do I determine if this fails again? GL compile shader, does it return, like, this doesn't return anything? Does GL shader source return anything? GL shader info log? Sounds familiar. So we do like shader info. Oh, it doesn't exist. GL get shader info log. Oh, we're chilling. Okay. So we say we do this. We say buff size is like 496. Whoa, buff size. What is buff size here? Max length. So this is the length of the character buffer for storing the return information log. Returns the length of the string. Oh, I see. So here we do something that's like car buff 1024 And then here we say retlen, and then we go like retlen, and then we say this like returns something if, how do we know if it fails again? GL error. For reference, if you don't want to generate your own letter, glue is the traditional choice, and there's probably back for it. Okay, cool. Good to know, good to know. So I can't remember like how do I tell if shader compilation failed? I think it's just GL get error, right? Ah, this is what I was looking for. This is what I was looking for. So this is like int success. And then we say like if success, we do this, and then we printf the string given by retlen buff. Something like this. Something like this. I guess this needs to go after compilation. Okay. Okay. So if we run this now, I'm hoping to see some sort of failures. I'm hoping. So can we do like init shaders? Nothing. Nothing. That's not good. What if I put like just like fucking like garbage in here? Maybe it can compile a shader with nothing in it. But what if I try to give it a shader with like, you know, absolute crap? It doesn't like that either. So I'm doing something wrong here. I'm doing something wrong, which is kind of fun. Which is kind of fun. So he's saying, run create shader, run shader source, compile shader, which does feel correct to me. So we create a shader as a vertex shader. We set the source. Oh, I mean, how is this even compiling? Printf hi mom. Like, how is this just not doing what I think it's doing? Oh, it is. This should not compile, right? If we plan on doing a lot of OpenGL, so just setting up GL message callback, that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. Fine. Fine. We'll fucking get our extension wranglers up. So I don't trust it. Okay. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. So next shell, and then glue. Does he use glue in his example? He does. He does. So let's go back into our example. Let's go back in here. And can we just do like include glue h? And then how does, what's the include order here? He just doesn't even include GL. Okay. And then we call like glue init here. He is mad because we need to L glue. Which doesn't exist. It's probably uppercase for some reason. There we go. Segmentation for all, very cool. So he's just mad because GL create shader doesn't exist. We should double check that we are like, this can return. So if glue init is not equal to glue okay, f printf failed to init glue. Return 1. Yeah, so he's failing, which is annoying. So am I supposed to do some sort of I mean, he's also saying, he said to set glue experimental equals true. I doubt this will matter. I doubt this will matter, but we can try it. Yeah, so failed to init glue. Fuck. Dun, 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 dun. No glue here. Why is everything so hard? Create window surface, create context, make current. This is how I thought it was supposed to work. Then okay, let's just double check if like I fucked everything up. I mean, surely this like segfault will still happen. Oh right, he's not segfault anymore because he just fails in it. So this, we should double check here that this returns glue okay. Oh my god. Glue headers. Are you trying to init glue before you create the OpenGL context? I don't think so, because I think the context is created by EGL init here. Right, so he calls EGL make current here, which I thought was EGL make context current is something I've also heard. Yeah, EGL make current binds the context to the rendering thread to the draw and read services. I thought that this was what I wanted. Right, because before, he could draw, like, right here. So I thought that's how it worked. But maybe not. Maybe not. Oh, God. Again, since the GLD message callback is core right now, I couldn't find it when I tried calling debug. GL debug, like, it's not anywhere, which is why I started using glue, was to try to get that callback. Oh, you're just saying with the right preprocessor defines? Ah, all right, we can try it. Yeah, I don't see it. GL debug message. Oh yeah. It does seem to be in here, huh? It does seem to be in here in glx. I just missed something. Okay. Didn't I have this before? I thought I had that set up. Maybe I'm just high? Oh, I need like a version thing as well? Ah. GL version 4.4. Oh, well, this is already defined. So this is defined in like this section where we need GLX prototypes as well as 4.3 undefined. Okay. So I don't know why I thought I couldn't find it before. I mean, it's definitely in there. It's definitely in there. I'm down to try because this glue shit is just extra pain. It's like GL debug message call back. Did I spell this right? Yeah? Do I need to set the version somehow? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Too few arguments. Oh, it's just my indexer just isn't working correctly. I see. I see. He's just confused, which is annoying, but that's fine. That's fine. So this thing is like this. This thing is like this. So debug callback is going to be printf. We'll just say message like this. He doesn't like that because I have to specify that we want to use this callback. Okay. Still nothing. Still nothing. It's a little annoying. A little annoying. It feels like it should be so simple to be like, this thing didn't compile. You know? Like, it feels like it should just be so simple. We're missing some, like, really obvious pieces, I feel like. Like, my impression was, like, it's just like you fucking compile, you check the status. Where is he called here? Compile shaders. Yeah, so he's doing create shader, shader source, compile shader, get the compile status. Right, I feel like we haven't been able to go much wrong. Maybe we should print failed. Maybe there's just no like useful yeah. Oh, there's some sort of like buffer corruption happening here. Aha, aha, aha. Okay. So that's getting us somewhere. Get shader info log. Because we also wrote 496 here and 1024 up here. I just wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. Not that I think that should matter. Aha. Okay, so that's a little better. But it doesn't really say why. Which is a little annoying. I was kind of hoping it would. Kind of hoping it would. Get shader info log. Oh, he says I can just write null here. He still doesn't say why. Still doesn't say why. Unless it's because I forgot the new line there. No, yeah, it doesn't say why. Get shader info log into buff. So here he calls info log a bunch of cars, which we did as well. Okay, well. That's fucking annoying. That's fucking annoying, but I guess we will come back to this a little bit. Like, if we compile this, does it succeed? You know? You know? No. No, he does not. That's even more annoying. I just want a simple little explanation. You know? Why is it so hard sometimes? I feel like last time we did OpenGL, it was like not this hard. It just kind of worked. Now we're having trouble just like compiling shaders, and I fucking hate this shit. We create a shader. We set our shader source to our shader source. Yes. So we pass in one array of thing. Oh my god. And then we call compile shader. We check with get shader IV the compile status on our vertex shader. And if we do not have a success, We print failed. So we have like two problems here. One is that we are like not printing, like what's going on here, right? Like that this isn't working. And then also, like why does this not compile? Maybe because we don't have support for version 330 for whatever reason. Maybe when we created our EGL context, we have to ask for a specific OpenGL version. It might be interesting to print out our major and minor version here. Like EGL get OpenGL version. Is that like a thing that we can do? EGL initialize OpenGL 4 something like OpenGL initialize OpenGL version. This is like a thing that we must be able to do. This is the EGL implementation. I want like the OpenGL implementation, which must be like part of the choose configuration, right? Or create context or something. Make current EGL example. So he iterates some devices. GL get string to get the OpenGL version. Makes sense. Makes sense. So that's probably what he's doing here. GL version. So we're getting OpenGL ES 1.1, which kind of might explain why our shader compilation is failing. How do we force this into like not OpenGL ES? EGL, does he do something here to specify? Maybe it's kind of set by these attributes that he's asking for. Oh, here we go. EGL bind API sounds familiar. So here, can we do like where does this go in this like list of shit that you just did? This is before choose config. Well, and then he passed in like EGL OpenGL API. All right, let's see what that does. There we go. Much better, much better. Okay. So it looks like he's mad because everywhere I did this, I should probably do, he's like, I want some new lines, which I didn't think he cared about, to be honest. But it seems like he does. Okay, we got there. We compiled the shader. We fucking compiled the shader. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. We'll do the same thing, kind of like here with the fragment shader. All right. This is failed frag shader. Make. There we go. And then here we go. Here we can paste in ChatGPT's example. We don't really need his example, but we might as well use it. He's just like, make it red. Make it red, please. Works for me. Works for me. Fragment shader compiles. Okay, let's make it white so that it's going to be different when we use it. And then when we draw, we just want to kind of GL draw arrays here. I do not think that we need to do this. I could be wrong, but let's just try it. Draw arrays, GL triangle strip. And we want to go from index 0, and there's 4 of them. There we go. There's our little white box in our red box. So we are chilling. We have now successfully, after way too much time, fucking 30 minutes or whatever, drawn a white box. And if we wanted to make it a blue box, we can adjust our fragment shader. Boom. Need GLU's problem if you don't have it already. It's in there. It's in there. We just do it one time here. It's in a stupid fucking spot. It's in a stupid spot. I understand. But we're not trying to get too crazy here. So just for the record, what we've done here is we've made a vertex shader that hard codes vertices in an array and then uses the vertex ID to look up which one it should be. This is not how I usually do it, but I'm happy to let to let the idiot ChatGPT do whatever he wants to do here, because I don't really care. Here I was just trying to prove that we could render a texture in a window. So I guess this is render. This isn't even rendering a texture. This is just rendering. First of all, we're trying to render a texture. This is just rendering a quad. So now that we have a quad, we can use this thing to sample some texture. So we can do like fragment shader that samples a texture, please. Right, so we use sampler 2D and Jesus Christ. How do I make this not suck? Set tab sock equals 4, shift width equals 4, expand tab, and then can we like, oh my god, the fucking syntax highlighter, the fucking like auto formatter, he like won't let me indent here for some fucking reason. That's annoying. Okay, so if we're gonna edit this thing, we want some sort of like, oh my god, in vec2 text chord. Okay. And then we want some uniform that we can sample from. So we're going to go like sampler 2D texture. Then we need to sample from this thing. So we are going to call texture from text on text chord, which means that our vertex shader needs to do the right thing here. So here we need to output. We need to output a text chord like this, and then we can say text chord is equal to, and then we just have to do like sorry, I'm thinking. So we just take the coordinate, it's going negative 0.5 to 0.5. So we just add 0.5. Yeah. Yeah, so we do like vec2 vert is equal to this. This gets vert here. And then here we just get vert plus 0.5. And then I think that should give us a 0 to 1. Okay. Let's just check if everything is mad. So no. Or everything is happy, I should say. We forgot a one of these here, and we forgot a one of these here. Okay. So now he's just drawing a black box because there's no texture bound. And then somewhere in this example, probably he binds the texture. Yep. This part, we bind the texture with our texture ID. And then does he upload the texture in here? No, but we can figure that out. We can figure that out. So here will be like texture ID is like a GL int or something. GL uint. And so now we have to like create the texture somewhere. So GL uint texture ID is equal to something. So here we have to like yeah, create and bind the texture with Combine the texture with mem and initialize value with memset, please. This is like one of the, usually I'm not willing to go this heavy on AI, but I know how to do this stuff. I just like want like the fucking API names. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm looking for. Pretty much this. Pretty much this. So he creates a texture, binds the texture, sets some parameters on here that we always forget to set. Then he basically says, sure, fill this with RGBA, then binds the texture and generates some bitmaps. All right. Red box and red box, and if we set it to green blocks and blue box, green blocks and red box, sorry. Sick. Okay, so we have a texture. We have a texture rendered on the screen. And now the interesting trick here is we want to take this texture and we want to make this texture from another fucking process. That is the interesting part. So we are at 010115 and we want to say share texture through an EGLImage. So really we should be able to just run this program twice. Right? And in one of these programs, we're basically going to check if we'll run it and say server or client. Make gradient or you can't prove sampling is correct. Okay, sure. Yeah. So we'll make this data goes from like we have width, height, we have x is I% width, y is I over width, and then here we get red is x over x times 255 over width, and this is y times 255 over width. That's true. And here, then we should get a little, yeah, there we go. It's working. It's fine. Good enough. Good enough for us. I guess we should make our background black, huh? There we go. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's working. Everything's working. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to generate this texture in one app and use it from another. So I think that I want to kind of say that like, we're probably going to get the same EGL context through Wayland here. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to say like, if we are a client, so if argc is less than 1, is less than 2, we have a problem. So we'll say failed, please tell us if we are a server or client. Okay. Okay, so now we'll say if server, stir comp argv1 and server is equal to 0. Then we're the server, else we are the else if this is client, like this. So if we are the server, we're going to like create a Unix socket is what we have to do. We have to create a Unix socket. So that's, I'm gonna fucking stop using the edit. He's frustrating. So, man, fuck it. Fuck it, we'll use him again. Because I don't really care about, this is not what I'm interested in right now. How, create a Unix socket on a server. Okay, fuck, stop. C code to create and read from Unix socket. There we go. Okay, sockadder. So he creates a socket with AF Unix. Then he creates the path. Then he binds and listens, right? I knew that. So socket, AF Unix, sock stream 0. I guess we'll call this like, oh yeah, it's fine. This is fine. So we create a socket, and here we need some sort of includes. It's man7 Unix, sys socket and sys un. And sys un. Sorry, make. There we go. So he's compiling again. We have to then bind that thing with this like server address shit. Right. So this is one of those. This is equal to 0. And then what goes in this thing? No client attached. Do I just not have a language server right now? It's annoying. Can we get Clang tools? We do have Clang tools. I don't know why it wasn't working. Bum 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 bum. Okay, where am I? EGL wayland. Socket. Okay. So can I jump to definition on this now? Thank you. So it's just sun path. Okay. Oh, and then I have to set the comment section as well. Does he do that anywhere? Bind server socket. There's kind of no like common. But sure. Okay. I don't really believe that this is right, but you know, we'll live. I don't believe that you have to do this. Right? Son family. Man Unix. Oh, here's a way better example. We should just use this. Yeah, so he sets the family to AF Unix and then copies in the path, and then he calls connect. That's on the client side, I guess. Server side? Yeah, okay, here we go. We should just copy from here. This is a way better example. Way better example. Fuck the idiot. Okay. So maybe we will just kind of like hit equals here, and name turns into name, I guess goes like this. Socket name, we're gonna be like you know, Unix. We'll call this like a texture socket. Okay. Bind to the file descriptor. That's what we called it. And then we listen. And then we should get one element here, right? So once we call listen on this thing, we should be able to call accept. So listen says we are ready. We are a server-side thing, and then I call accept to get a socket, and then I can read from that thing. Okay. All right. So then we just do like a read. And now this is where it gets kind of confusing, because we know that when we transfer file descriptors over, we have to use this like send message and receive message API, which we found was difficult, right? But we have done this yesterday, so we can kind of figure it out. Let's struct message header. Right, it's something like this. Okay, and then we have one of these message headers that we're trying to receive. Man, receive message. How does this thing work? We only did the send side the other day. So containing both the buffer to store the source address and the buffers for the incoming message. Can we, is there like an example? No. Example? None. Fuck. So I think that we probably have to still set those like IO vectors. Probably. So on the sender side, what did we do the other day? What did we do the other day? We did IOV. So we created a buffer that we are writing from. And so I guess in the case of receive, this must be an IO vector that we are reading into. That makes the most sense to me. So here we're going to be struct IOVect. Okay, and then IOV.len is equal to, I don't know, we can receive 1024. And then we can say like, you know, U8, car buff. Something like this, right? So this comes from IOV. Then we need ancillary data. So if I remember correctly, message name could be null. And then message name len could be 0. That was fine. Then we have to, this is where we fucking write out to. And we have one of these things. Then we have the control. So here we have to create a C message for a size of file descriptor. So we're going to say C message buff is this, which means that this can just go equals C message buff, right? And header message control len is equal to size of C message buff. I think that works. Then man receive message is going to return length of the message in bytes or -1. So if receive message is equal to -1, fprintf failed to get file descriptor. Failed to read from socket. Okay. All right. And this goes just to error. And then we exit 1 or something. I don't really care. Okay, so once we get this, then we should have the file descriptor in the C message buff. So it's like C message data. How do we like man C message? Let's look at their example again. So he calls C message space here. Okay, then C message len here. Oh, so he has to set the header here. So how does he create the header? He does this like union shit. Right. This sounds familiar. So he creates a union of these things. He probably assigns to no, align is not used here. ubuff is used. Message header, C message header. So where does he assign C message header? Oh, C message, sorry. So he assigns it like this. So he calls this on first header on message, where message is this buffer. Right. Okay, I get it. So he says that like CMessage first header on header gives us a struct CMessage star. Incompatible pointer type. So what is this supposed to return? Struct CMessage header star. And here he wants a pointer. Okay. So this is what we wrote out to. And then we are looking for, here we want to say if CMessage len is not equal to 4, we have a fucking problem. We have a problem, I think. So here we're just going to say fprintf did not get a FD sized item. Okay, so now we can kind of go onto the client side and we can try to get a little crazy. You can try to get a little crazy. So let's create our texture on the client side here. If we're on the client, should CMessage buff be size of FD, not size of int? I think int FD is an int. So I think it's fine. I think it's fine. In reality, it's just going to be 4 no matter what. I'm not really too worried about being like perfect here, to be honest. I don't know why everything is fucked here. So here we generate the texture, and we have to find a way to like export that thing as an EGLImage. So EGL create texture is probably the thing we're looking for. So this is used to create an EGLImage object from an existing image resource. This specifies the display used for the operation. So here we have like a 2D texture somewhere, right? So we want to say like, given our display, which is in state, I think. Yep. Nice. Given our display, let's do like an EGL create image. So we need a context. So the context is the client API context for which the image is created. So that must be in state EGL context as well. And then we have a target. So target here, he says, is if we want to pull it from a 2D texture. Let's pull it from this. Okay. Buffer is the resource to be used as the image source. So I believe they said that this gets, I think I read that this gets cast from something. Buffer. Buffer is the name or handle of a resource to be used as the EGL image source, cast into the type of EGL client buffer. So it looks like we just kind of do like this, and we use our texture handle. It kind of looks like we do this. And then his attribute list specifies attributes used to select subsection of the resource to be used in image source. So do I have to, if attribute list is non-null, oh, so I can just make this null. So he doesn't like this at all, which is kind of interesting. So I wonder if we have to take like the pointer to that thing. Can we look for like EGL image from OpenGL texture example? EGL create image example. EGL create image. This is not what I want, I feel like. EGL create image texture 2D example. Cast through uint pointer T or something. I mean, I don't know if it's supposed to be directly used or a pointer. But I guess, yeah, we could try like uint pointer t. Like we could try that. We could try that. I'm down. I'm down to try it. So this should return an EGLImage. And for now, can we just re-import this image as a second texture? So it will ignore the like back and forth with the server for now, and just see if we make a new texture here. So here we'll call this client internal texture ID or something, so that it doesn't get like leak out. I would like to turn this into like a new thing that we poured in. So EGLImage from to texture. Bump, 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 bump. So I think that we saw there was like a. Does this have like a C also? Bind text image. Defines a two-dimensional texture image. This isn't really what I want. Destroy image. Not really what I want either. I know that it's possible to go the way. It has to be. It has to be. Once an EGLImage is created from the EGLImage source, the memory allocated with the EGLImage source will remain allocated, blah, blah, blah. Respecification or deletion of any EGLImage sibling inside a client API context with the EGLImage sibling reused as the target operation only affects that client API context. So this really implies that you can create a sibling EGL image. And that's where I don't really understand how to create one. We can ask the idiot. We can ask the idiot. How do I create a texture from an EGLImage? Import the EGLImage. Ah. So what is this? Here. Okay, so this is an extension called OES EGLImage external. So what is OpenGL ES? Requires either image-based or image extension. So this extension provides a mechanism for creating image texture targets from EGLImages. This defines a new texture target, texture external OES. I see. So does this work in OpenGL core as well? Or is this like, are they like kind of like completely disjoint? The texture target. Okay, so how do I. So yeah, okay, that lines up with what this guy's saying, right? Where he's just like, just fucking slap this thing on your bound texture. Right, so this kind of means that like you can kind of like take this thing down here. Generate a texture, right? And bind the texture. And then import it. Oh, that's why we had this defined up here, actually. I guess we can generate and bind. We can generate the texture here. Then we bind it down here after we've kind of made our EGLImage. And hopefully we can kind of just run this. Okay. So he's mad because type specifier missing. Can I do it this way? No. No, I cannot. Can we do like a text ID U64 or something? Internal texture ID. Does that work? Oh, it's probably Oh, I'm an idiot. I'm just a fucking dumbass. Hold on. This guy, I'm so sorting Zig. This needs to be a struct EGLImage here. There we go. There we go. So does that build? Cool. So if this works, we should be able to run with the client, and this should force the texture to be loaded with the things that we went through the EGLImage API on. So client. So instead we just get a black screen. So that's not good. That means that the texture has not been loaded correctly, right? If we do like texture ID is equal to internal texture ID or something, just to like kind of hack it. This should draw us the mango again. Yep. And so this is not doing what we expected. Okay, what if this is supposed to go by pointer here? Right? What if? Still nothing. Still nothing. So this thing does exist, which is kind of interesting. It could be that we are not, we were supposed to specify some attributes here for which parts of the texture we wanted to copy. Right? I guess also we forgot to do these texture parameter settings on this guy, which maybe has some effect. I always forget that this is important. So let's bind texture ID like this. Oh no, because we did confirm that. Oh no, we didn't confirm shit. So this I think should be like kind of equivalent to GL text image 2D. I think. So maybe we have to generate our bitmaps as well. Still no bueno. Still no bueno. And so now the question is like, what the fuck is supposed to happen here? What the fuck is supposed to happen here? I want to try maybe setting some attributes here on the exported image. I guess I want to try one more time with the uint pointer tcast here. Or maybe it was just like this. Yeah. Oh, there we go. We fucking got there. Okay, so this thing has to be upcast to a 64-bit thing, then cast to a void star. Then it's reinterpreted back when we load this, right? So if I comment out this load texture from image, we should see it no longer works again. Nice. This doesn't work. So this is good confirmation to us that we have in fact done something reasonable. We've gone back and forth through an EGLImage, but we have not sent that thing over the network yet, or over like a Unix socket, I should say. So that's going to be the interesting part here. That's going to be the interesting part where we can actually send the thing over. So how do we do that? There's like Linux in the Wayland protocol thing, they told us the extension name. In the Linux DMA buff thing, they say, hey, here is the import thing. But I guess we want like EGLX image DMA buff export or something. That's probably the interesting piece. PQ System, thanks for the tier 1. So here we have Mesa image DMA buff export. That sounds promising to me. So let's see if we have this. So what does like the query function do? To mirror the import extension, this extension attempts to return enough information to enable an exported DMA buff to be imported via EGL create image and EGL Linux DMA buff extension token. Okay. Okay. The first entry point, this, is used to retrieve pixel format of the buffer as specified by DRM4CC, the number of planes in the image, and the Linux DRM modifiers. Okay, the second entry point retrieves the DMA buff file descriptors, strides, and offsets for the image. The caller should pass arrays sized according to the number of planes values retrieved previously. Passing arrays of the wrong size will have undefined results. Okay, so like theoretically, if you had like YUV, you might have like multiple planes here. That like, you know, you might have like your color buffer separated from your like luminance buffer, right? So they're kind of saying like, look up like how many fucking things you need, allocate that many file descriptors or an array that we can put those file descriptors in, we will give you the strides and the offsets. Okay, this makes sense. What concerns me a little bit is that this seems like Mesa specific. A little bit. But we can kind of see how that works. We can see how that works. So it looks like once we have an EGL image that is related to this texture, we should be able to call this. So do we have EGL export image? Ooh, maybe not. So here we might need to have some sort of like extension wrangling library for EGL. That seems possible. Let's env grep EGL. Can we look at like where is this coming from? This path. Can we like paste this grep, and we're looking for EGL export in this. So it does look like we have that stuff, but it's probably again guarded by some define. EGL export. So this needs EGL X prototypes. Okay. And it also needs include EGLX. Nice. Nice. So now we should be able to basically figure out how to export this thing. Export. He's not really happy still. There we go. I just had to refresh. So export DRM image Mesa or DMA buff. What is the difference? Can we look for export? Export DRM image Mesa or DMA buff. Okay. Oh, that X stands for export, not extension in the preprocess context. I never got that. Is that true? I don't think that X can stand for export. There's no T in export. Oh, there is a T at the end of export. I'm pretty sure this is extensions. I could be wrong, though. I could be wrong. EGL export DRM. Like, let's see what that means. Export. This maybe? Export DRM. So this is written against this and only requires image. So this is the DRM mode setting and memory management drivers. This extension lets applications create EGL images without a client API resource and lets the application get the DRM buffer handles. So this probably isn't what we want. It sounds like the DMA buff is more what we want. I think? I'm actually not sure. Yeah, because this creates a DRM buffer directly, it sounds like. Okay, we'll just go along with the DMA buff side. So EGL export. He's mad again? Why? EGL export. Here we go. So they said we have to query this thing first, right? They said we have to query this thing first. So what does he want? He wants a display, an image. So I'm assuming that the image KHR is compatible with EGL image. That might not be true, but we will see. We have a 4cc. So what is this? The 4cc, I think, is the color code. I think is what we read before. 4cc is used to retrieve the pixel format of the buffer as specified by 4cc, the number of planes, yeah. So I think that we can probably assume that 4cc color code should be RGBA because that is what we defined our texture as that we bound. I'd be interested to see if that is true. So we'll put 4cc here as well as num planes and null for modifiers. I don't really give a fuck about that, I think, for now. So let's kind of see, what do we get here if we, so he's mad that there's too much shit going on here. Oh, it's because of the wrong fucking API. I wasn't paying attention. We can fix it. Easy fix. And can we just do like assert 4cc is equal to, and then like look at the drm 4cc.h. Okay. And xrgb 8888, right? So we're kind of hoping that this is the same as this. And here we need assert.h. Okay. He's mad because that thing doesn't exist. Do I have to link against some other EGL library, I wonder? That's interesting. Maybe like El Mesa? No. Env grep EGL. Mesa. Surely it's in like here somewhere, right? No? Where does EGL come from? Maybe from the GL headers? Maybe? Okay, libegl is in here. I don't really see anything in here that looks like very Mesa-y. I don't really see anything that looks very Mesa-y. So can we look for like, maybe somebody, if I just Google this, will tell me where to get it. I think you're expecting EGL get proc address on the extension functions. Oh, that sounds right. Yeah, that sounds right. So how does this work? So how fuck. EGL get proc address example. Bum 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 bum. EGL use extensions. It's been a while. Dun 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 to get proc. Yeah, okay. It does sound correct. But then like, this might just not be defined. Right? Like, because if I call EGL get proc, that will only work if that thing is defined in the shared object I'm linking against, right? So like, it could be that this is not a supported instruction. I think. I mean, we could try it. I don't think this will work, to be honest. Can we just do like this? Image query Mesa is equal to this, and then like, oh, did I copy the wrong one? Did I copy the wrong one? Oh, I need to cast it. Oh, maybe it's like this. Yeah. And then call image query Mesa. This, I assume this will segfault. I assume. Oh no, oh, okay, so we actually did call it. Okay. It can load extra shared objects, I'm pretty sure. I see. Yeah, so it did look like this actually ran, but then the format is wrong. Can we like print the format? I'm curious now. I'm curious. So we got some fucking negative big ass number, probably because I want you here. Actually, I think I want X. Print as hex, please. So can we look at like, this is defined as 4cc code. Oh, it's gonna be a fucking pain in my ass, dude. So we want to log basically the 4 characters. These are 4 characters back to back. Cool. So can we like just cast this to like a buffer of 4 cars? Can we do like this? It doesn't look like really reasonable at all. Right? Let's just try, like, if we do like int 4cc is equal to drm format RGB 8888, right? Like if we do this, don't call this, does our thing print out something sane? RA24, right? So this does do what I thought, right? Because this is RA24. So when we call image query mesa on this instead, it looks like we're getting kind of trash. I think. Let's see. Yeah, see, we're getting kind of garbage in here. Getting kind of garbage. So it kind of indicates to me that this isn't working. Does like this return something? EGL Boolean? So what was it? It was image query mesa. I guess we look this thing up. Image query mesa. So return. Does not really say, but we can assume that EGL Boolean returns false on failure, right? So can we do like EGL Boolean success equal this? Printf success is a number. So, right, so he does kind of claim that he failed, and that kind of lines up with the format string just being different every fucking time we run the function, right? So that's kind of interesting. That's kind of interesting. Can we look for failure conditions here? It could be that image is not an image KHR. That was kind of like an assumption that we made that may not be true. So this might have to be EGL create image KHR, right? Which looks very similar, except he takes in a display, a context, a target, a buffer, and attribute list. So this is actually exactly the same. So can we try doing this? Then this stuff presumably won't work anymore. Also can 0 and 4 CC. That's a good point. That's a good point. So we need to do kind of the same thing here, where we have I mean, can we figure out like, hold on. Make Hold on. Give me a sec here. Give me a sec. Make GB test run client. Can we like info shared library? Can we just see which one of these things? EGL Mesa. I bet if we use EGL Mesa that it will work. I bet. Which he doesn't like. But that was what we saw up here, right? It was lib EGL Mesa, so we can just kind of do a little of this guy. Oh, really? Still no. Still no. All right, we'll use the fucking we'll use the fucking query proc address version. So here we want which kind of means that we don't want these EGL extension types, right? I mean, we just don't want to define the prototypes because we're calling them ourselves. Because then we can do, like, we can name this properly without colliding. Okay. And then we can look for whatever the type was for create image, create KHR? No? Create image KHR was me. I wasn't grepping with the right casing, probably. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So that's this one. So this is EGL create image KHR is equal to this. EGL create image KHR. And then up here, we should be able to call this with KHR here. And then I assume that, we'll see. Client, format, 1/4. Surprisingly, he's still not that happy. Kind of surprisingly. Okay, so very surprising, very surprising. So he is still saying success 0 as well. So I don't really understand. I don't understand why. Do we need the -L before the -I? -L? I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I didn't think the order mattered. Also, it linked wayland EGL. Like, the link didn't fail. It was more that, like, there was an undefined symbol, so I'm pretty sure that was fine. To mirror the import extension, this extension attempts to return enough information to do this. Yep. Do we need to, like, say, maybe we need to specify our extensions that we require somewhere? Like when we initialize EGL? Like, do I just do, like, type, like, something like this? Use the undeclared identifier, so that's not. Specify required EGL extensions. Do I need some flags when creating the image? Maybe. But it looked like it worked when we went back and forth. Oh, I would actually be interested in with create image KHR and we rebind the texture and everything. Does this work okay if I just take the assert out? Yeah, so we're still rendering the correct texture, which is good. That's a good sign for us. So it's just this is failing for whatever reason. So now we know that the types match up correctly. I mean, it could be that this just isn't a DMA buff. Like, I wonder if we have to like do some sort of like image conversion. Let's see. What does this guy say anything? So he talks about these extensions, which we have found. Okay. So a simple use case. I performed a few experiments. In my first and simplest one, I used native to allocate and exchange the DMA buff from two different contexts. Context creates an EGLImage A from text A. Okay, nice. Oh, text is, yeah, and two glaze textures. So this is like a little different, but probably enough the same. So let's check his GitHub. Hell yeah, dude. Why can't I open this link? Hello? Okay. This website's just broken. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Source main CC. All right, let's take a look. Let's take a look. So we're looking for like whatever this function is called. Export DMA buff. Okay. So he calls this from image A, which he called with EGL create image, no KHR bullshit. Pulling from a texture 2D, which we eventually we figured this out eventually that we have to do an int cast as U64, and looks like nothing here is crazy. Dude makes up his markdown text like, oh yeah, I guess that is what it was. The brackets after I just thought he was like saying what it was. Yeah, so he actually doesn't do anything crazy. I guess the only difference is that he specifies modifiers output. Maybe us passing in null there is not allowed. Right? That's the only thing jumping out at me here. Which we probably should have looked at. That should have jumped out at us when we were reading the spec, to be honest. So where is it? This is the wrong spec. Did we lose it? I think we did. What's this function called? Wah, wah. We do have to tell it that we're a client. No. Still no bueno. Okay, so he is also doing the same check that we are. So he is confirming that at least that like two people have made the same mistake, or it's correct, where he thinks that ret should be 0 on failure. So we are seeing success of 0, so this is failing, even though we are passing now all the arguments. All of them. Does this code actually work? Who knows? I mean, he's like claiming it did, right? He's like, I did something, right? Results, like he did something, right? So we can maybe we're assuming something. At least the worst case scenario here is that the two of us are making the same mistakes, right? Okay. Uninitialized modifiers might screw things up. Let's okay. The second, I thought that modifiers was an output param. I thought. But maybe I misunderstood. Modifiers. Doesn't really say. Can we look at like, how does that not, Linux DRM modifiers? Yeah, this is used to retrieve the pixel formats. This is an output. So we are not getting lucky here at all. And what's interesting here is that like this still works, right? So it's not like we're doing anything fucking crazy here. It could be that maybe we need to specify, we might need to specify some outputs here on the create image. Let's see what he does for create image. He does specify some attributes here, which is kind of interesting. So we could try this. So he says like, hey, I want 4cc info and I want a file descriptor. Oh, interesting. Oh wait, no, this is on the other side. Hold on. On the export side, he's setting no attributes like we are. Very interesting. I wonder if it's because we rebound it. I wonder if it's like kind of like not allowed to be used anymore. No, so that doesn't really. He doesn't like that either. He doesn't like that either. Very interesting. It's possible that like somehow this isn't a Mesa context. Although I think that like I'm using AMD GPU, which is I'm using like the Radeon graphics driver. Like if I say like GLX info, GLX info, I'm pretty sure that it will tell me that I am using the like a Mesa graphics driver. I think it will. Yeah, see, it's like some Mesa stuff. It would be also interesting to look to see if we have these extensions that we're trying to use, right? So this extension that we're trying to use is EGLInfo. We do in fact have that extension, which I guess is like indicated by the fact that we can call it at all, right? Okay, so we are on. Hold on. So there's a wayland platform. We have a bunch of different options, right? But we can assume that we're on the wayland platform because we confirmed that it when we called get platform display with a wayland platform argument that it would discover this for us, right? So it feels like we should have this thing and it should work. It should work. Which is kind of where we are right here. Yeah, it's very strange. On the bright side, it feels like we're not doing anything too crazy because we kind of got to the same place that guy did. It's just why is his working? Well, supposedly working and ours isn't. I guess we could. Can we compile this code? Is this like something that we can clone and compile, and like see if it works? Probably not. Probably not. Fuck. Fuck. That's so annoying. So is there like an EGL debug callback? In the same way that there is a GL debug callback? Like, is there something along the lines of like EGL debug message control? He seems to be using it with X, not with wayland. Yeah, that's a possibility. Okay, so this extension allows EGL to notify applications when various events occur, may be useful when during application development and debugging. Okay, let's fucking run it. Messages are communicated to the application through an application-defined callback function that is called by the EGL implementation. So maybe this will give us at least some form of clue. So which one of these things do we want? This. And so we define this as our EGL callback. We define this as our EGL callback. Debug callback. Debug callback EGL. And we'll kind of do I guess there's no length field here, so we're just gonna like fucking run it with the message. And I guess we do have to use this somewhere, huh? So when we do GL debug message callback, first of all, we should set this up here. Then we had this function, which it looks like we are calling through EGL get proc address, which means that we need to find. Okay. So it looks like it's probably the naming scheme is to take this, prefix it with pfn, and postfix it with proc, and capitalize everything. Oh, okay, sick, we got there. So this is the EGL. I guess we kind of wanted this here. So boom, boom, boom equals this. Cast from EGL get proc address of this. Okay. So then we can try to like EGL debug message control with debug callback EGL. And I think that this just took a, ow, ow, my fucking brain. Callback an attribute list. So I assume this could be null. But I could be wrong there. fuck my life, man. So cool. Fucking cool, man. Fucking cool. What a great error message. Fuck. It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So I guess so this return EGL error macro from Mesa takes in display parameter, so parameters error and func. Okay, so in here we're probably just not logging everything that we can. Probably. Or it's kind of indicating that like here the error is what we want here, so we'll log the error here. And then he will tell us 12296, which we can maybe Python 3 12296 in hex. Hello, really? I can't hit home here. 3008. Okay. Okay. Bad display. What? Bad display. So here, oh no, wrong spot. So how? Oh, EGL check display here probably. Return EGL error. From display 0 red. So here he's just assuming that 0 is the display thing? No. Check error number again. One two two nine six. Yeah, 3008. Which is bad display. Yeah. So what's confusing to me? Oh, here maybe it could come from this, because this does not propagate. This just says 0 here for the error number. So it must not be this. So it could be like implementers of this guy. Could be. It looks like this is actually used in that many spots. All in EGL API actually. So we can just look for EGL bad display here. And EGL check display sets it. Which maybe we saw in this path. Maybe. Yeah, it's in here. I see. So this guy sets EGL bad display. And then the 0 probably means like propagate that motherfucker. Yeah. I see. I see. Wrong hex? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure I'm right. So it looks like bad display is happening. And so now the question is why? Right? If this is just EGL check display, what does this even do? He says if this is not initialized, or it's not a display, which it feels like we should be fucking chilling on. So he's coming from locking display here. So he gets like an internal thing from our external handle. Okay. Oh my god, I'm a dumb. Fuck! Wait. Fuck, man. Wrong display. Wrong display. Ah! Ah! God damn it. God fucking damn it, dude. I guess we have to run our build. Okay, we fucking got there. We fucking got there. We have a successful query of the parameters. Good old Ewan handles. Dude, that's so frustrating. I fucking made my own bed though. I deserve that. I deserve that. Okay, so we have AB24, which I think is not this, to be honest. It's not, right? So, but that's okay because AB24 is fine. It's just ABGR instead of RGBA, which is fine. That's fine. Okay, so after all of that, we should be able to export this thing somehow, right? Where is our extension for this function? So we have to basically make as many output file descriptors as there are planes. So I guess at the very least, let's assert that num planes is equal to 1 here. Because that's all we're expecting on the other side. Okay, we're chilling. Moral, if one display does a prefix, both do. Yeah, and it's my fault for copy pasting someone else's code, right? It's like, I wouldn't have done it that way, right? I would never have done display and EGL display, but they did, and that's on me for not checking. Dude, fucking tiny stupid bugs really just like ruin your life, huh? Like, it's so easy to make a mistake like that, and it just takes like so much time to debug, and all we did was something like very, very minorly stupid. Which is annoying, but it's fine. Okay, so now we should just be able to be like, yo, fucking give me that bad boy. I should shut the fuck up. Never say bad boy ever again in my life. So the function type of this thing is pfn plus proc. And this is equal cast from. Use this word in EGL get proc address for this. Fuck. No, fuck. This. There we go. Now we should be able to run this down here. So we will use state.display. Wouldn't that be funny if I did it again? FDs. So here we need FDs 1 per plane, right? So here we can say like int FD because we know that we only have 1. We have strides, and again we have 1 stride and 1 offset. And we'll just say this is fine because there is only 1 plane. I think. Because actually, what do I know? I'm kind of making shit up. And this returns a Boolean, I think. Yeah. And we will print success again because I don't really want to figure it out. All right. So now we should have a file descriptor that we can like fucking huck over the edge. So we should be able to be like, yo. We should be able to be like, let me send a message. Which we will still create a socket and we will bind to that socket, but we don't have to listen, right? If I remember correctly, we can just fucking start sending shit because... Is that how this works? Man, 7 Unix. So on the sender side, we create a socket, we set the shit, we connect. It's connect, not bind. I forgot. Connect. So we take the file descriptor, the address, and the socklen. Okay, chillin'. Oops. I'm in the wrong spot. Fuck me. Okay, so we copy the same shit, and then just instead of bind, we type connect. Which kind of indicates that you could make the socket, you know, your own way, but you know. Okay, now on the sender side, we actually have to set the content of this C message buffer, right? So this was done by doing like first header of our header. So this should give us a, where do I get like data? C message data from a C message. So here I have like a C message header is equal to this. And then we call C message data on the header. And we basically have to like set this to the value of the integer. So I guess this is done with like a mem copy. I don't really know how this works in C. Can I do like this? That, I think that works. Maybe I have to do this. We'll see. Then we send the message. And then we're fucking chilling. Chilling like a villain. So now he's saying connect failed because there's no such file in the directory. So we should be able to kind of make like... I think what we want to do here is we want to like, while true here, just like fucking like sleep or something. Because I don't really know if there are rules for, hold on. Is it unstd that has sleep in it? Yeah. And this is in seconds. Yeah, so I don't know if what the rules are on like who owns the EGLImage. So that's why I'm like, I just want to like sleep here on the client side so that we know that like on the server side, we don't like have invalid memory access. You know? So we should, basically when we run the server, it should block until we get the message from the client. So let's do server here. So here's just blocking, and then we should be able to do client. And then he does make it there. Like, that does unlock us. He says failed to read from socket. This should be failed to write to socket. Not that it fucking matters. Here we probably have to set the buffer. Can we just do this? Like, we're not sending anything. Like, just shut the fuck up. Like, the only thing we are sending is the file descriptor, which I know is bad, but like, is that allowed? Address is already in use. How do you do like bind, allow? Is there a way for me to be like, yo, allow me to like fucking use this shit again? There is, I just can't remember what it is. Oh my god, dude, I fucking voice cracked. That was sick. That was so cool. I'm young again. We can just fix this like this for now. Server, client. You have to unlink it from the file system before bind. That makes sense. So why is he failing? And why is this guy getting an illegal instruction? I have so many questions. So many questions. So let's just do unlink, like you guys said. And let's GDB this. Okay. Okay, that would do it. Weird for that to be illegal instruction. That's kind of weird. But we'll live. Okay, so he just didn't get a C message. And then also the other side didn't get to write to it. Hold on, where was I in like my backtrace there? So let's make sure that we're compiling with debug info. It looks like if I'm using zigcc, I probably am. So this is just, wait, backtrace. No, he's fucking lost, huh? He's fucking lost. God damn it, dude. Fuck this language. Pointer to a pointer. Which means I probably got it wrong on the other side as well, huh? Client. Still bad, huh? Did I run make? I did. I'm curious if this is correct, to be honest. Can we like printf control len Does Pierre help here? The fuck is Pierre? Control len 24. That seems reasonable. Here he's still mad at C message. So like that kind of makes it sound like this. Is giving me message control len. I wonder if I have to say what size. Hold on. So he's saying, yo, I got some shit coming in. Message control len has to be 0 for me to get 0 here. But I got control len 24. I did see control len 24. So is it like an after I receive message? Then it like overwrites it? It does. That's interesting. That's pretty interesting. I'm at Pierre. I mean, I believed that's not a surprise. I just don't even know what it is. I guess I have this here, huh? Prints a message describing the meaning of the value of Erno. Ah, I see. Yeah, could, huh? So it looks like I say like receive message here. Cannot allocate memory. Okay. Maybe that name thing does need to be set. Message points to a message header structure containing both the buffer to store the source address and the buffers for the incoming message. The length and the format of the address depend on the address frame of the socket. The message flags member is ignored on input and may contain meaningful values on output. Address to send receive from. So I don't give a shit, right? Like, these are optional, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong here. This type should be sockland T. Okay, sure. Ancillary data. There's probably some stale error note. It should be on the -1. Otherwise, it prints random garbage. Oh, that's a good point. That's a pretty good point. I forgot about that. Yeah, so it's like, it's somehow like failing, but not indicating failure. Returns the number of bytes read or -1 for errors. So like, what's going on here? I wonder if we have to write some data along with this. Right? Can we say like something like this just to make sure that like something gets written? He doesn't like that. He doesn't like that. He does not like that. So I don't understand why it's like, I guess we should look at the why it's failing on the writer side. That probably makes sense. Right, so here we can write send. Should it be IOV, not IOV as well? Fuck my life, dude. No. No, because IOVEC is a stack member. This is a pointer to an IOVEC. So we're chilling there. The reason that this had to be not ampersanded was because this is a, like, this gets turned into car star, right? Kind of like automatically. I guess maybe we didn't set cmessage buff on the send side. Oh, we did. We tried to send it. We did set it here. Can we, can we do like printf %d the, you know, an int star cast of C message data. So server, client. So we do get what seems to be a reasonable file descriptor, but he's also saying invalid argument on send message. So probably receive message on the other side is returning 0, would be my guess. So we're probably saying like we didn't get jack shit, but we're still pretending that we did, right? So here we should probably do like ret is equal to receive message, right? If ret equals -1, we do this. Else if ret equals 0, we say remote hang up. Okay, that makes more sense. So now he's being like the other side, like, you know, just kind of like fucked off. You know? So that's fine. So now it's just the client side invalid argument is what we have to look at. So which of these fucking things is going to be invalid? number of elements in the vector. So this is a vector of one element. Our IO vector has two arguments, IOV base and IOV len, void star from ASDF, message length of 4. So that doesn't look like it. It could be the C message buff. So if we set this to kind of like, is there unset parameters on here? It could be. Maybe we forgot to do this. We might have forgot to do this. Let's try that real quick. Okay, still not happy, but it could be that these flags are important. We actually did forget. We do have to set those, actually. And we're also not setting the C message header fields. Oh, maybe that's where it was? So in our example, oh, that's a really good point. So we had to set the type and the level, if I remember correctly. We have to set the... We need to do something that's like, we're fucking sending SCM rights. So we need to set the level to sol socket and the type to SCM rights. Sol socket and rights. And was there another thing in here? C message len? So I guess this is just a size of C message buff, right? No. No, it's not. C message len, what does this take in? The length. Okay, let's try that. There we go. Did not get an FD sized item. Okay. But we're closer. Because this includes the header. This includes the header. Right? That's what it said? So how do we get the length of the data? I guess we just don't. Let's just printf the value. Fuck this. We just won't validate. We just won't validate. So we'll say C message data, C message, and we'll be like int star FD is equal to this, or this is the texture FD. And can we just say printf texture FD is %D, and let's just see what we get. It might be unaligned. I'm willing to take that risk. He got texture, he got file descriptor 10. Okay. Which I think is reasonable because he's created less file descriptors coming up. So because I think that they're not going to have the same file descriptor number. I think that's promising. Okay. So what is next? Next we have to like try to import this image somehow, right? Theoretically. So we actually had that code already, kind of down here. Nope. I lost it. Here. So here we should be able to basically like just kind of slap this shit here. We're just missing the generation of the EGLImage, right? So EGLImage should have some sort of like import function, which is in one of these. I'm just going to close all these tabs because there are clearly so many that they're not useful anymore. And let's look at this import. Boom. Boom. So we are planning on importing this thing somehow. Where are the functions? New tokens. Hello? Where are the fucking images? Oh, maybe it just comes for free here. Do we just call like create EGLImage? EGL create image KHR. So here we just have to say, I think we just have to say where it comes from. Right? So where do we, let's kind of move this like loader thing up to the top. Dude, can anybody read this? What fucking crazy code. Okay. So we want to load this now. Instead of it coming from EGLGL texture 2D, we must be able to specify EGL Linux DMA buff X? No. Legal values for create image KHR target. Yeah. This sounds a lot right. This sounds a lot like what we want. So it looks like we probably do the same trick here, where we take the file descriptor int, upcast it to uint64 so it fits, then cast that to an EGL client buffer. And I think there's like a real good chance that kind of works. Maybe not a real good chance, but a chance for sure. No. So we are not quite there, not quite there. Presumably we need parameters here. Right? Like right now, all the only piece of information that we have given to this guy is that there is a file descriptor. But how the fuck is he supposed to know like the width and height of that thing? Right? They were talking about on the export side. They were talking about, oh god, oh no, this one, right? That the query gives us things like modifiers, where these modifiers are like important pieces of information, right? So I guess we also had that guy's example, which I think is a good reference. I want to go back and look at this guy's code because you know what? I'm not above scrounging the net for somebody else's implementation at this point. It's 4:30. I want to eat. I'm hungry. Okay. So here, somewhere he calls like create image, right? And the first time he does no parameters, but here he does with attributes. And so he sets these attributes. So oh, interesting. So when he's using DMA buff X, which is what we used, we probably should have read the import spec, right? So his example says, don't even pass anything in there. Fuck this shit, right? But the actual interesting information comes in as attributes. So we can kind of cheat here a little bit because we know this stuff, right? Because we printed it on the client side, right? We can just print the stride here. Here. And we can even put the offset for good measure, right? Okay, let's kind of get some of this shit out of the way. Hold on. We added a bunch of stuff we weren't ready to use yet, so let's kind of comment this out. On the server side, none of these attributes. What the fuck? Okay, server, client. So he has a stride of 1024, offset of 0, right? So we can just hard code all this shit. Right? So for CC, we know this is a DRM. Fuck. What was it? It was in DRM 4CC. DRM format is something 24. I think it was AB24. This one. This one. So instead of transmitting this over the wire, we're just gonna fucking cheat, right? So this is gonna be like this, offset 0, and stride was, I think it said 1024 or something. Yeah. All right. What does he want if not these? You want, that was BA24. You want AG, oh yeah, that's a good point. It was AB, not BA. My bad, my bad. B, oh no, here, BA24, so copy this. Which is what I had. Which is what I had. Which is what I had. So I think ARGB, oh, ABG, I mean, this is what's printed here. AB24? Oh, BA24. I'm just fucking high. Thank you. Yeah, you're right. You're right. That would have pissed me off. So, this thing wants an EGLInt attribute list. So we'll just do it this way. That's fine. 256 and 256 might not be our texture size. What is our texture size? I think we just let, it was 256, 256. So we just got kind of lucky there. All right. And let's fucking run it with a null pointer. And let's see. Create image common, still unhappy. Unhappy. Interesting. Interesting, interesting, interesting. So we can look at this and we can do Python 3 hex this. That is 300C. So let's get back in the Mesa source code. 30C, don't forget. Never forget. I already forgot. 300C. It ended with a C. That's the important piece. And we want to go here, here. Give me a minute. We just gotta get to the right spot. Womp, 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 womp. Build. QEMU. Sorry, what am I looking for? Mesa. Sorry, my fucking brain, dude. EGL create image KHR. This is, it was like EGL API.c, right? So then we're looking for EGL create image K common is where he's failing. And we're looking for 300C. So like bad parameter. Okay. CTX must be no context, which I think we didn't do. We did not do that. We did not do that. It's kind of an annoying restriction, but you know, whatever. Test server, test client. Image from DMA bus failed. Okay, okay. Invalid bitmap texture import. The metadata has last level equals 8. The caller set 0. Okay, okay, wait. We're starting to get some. Thank God we finally got a like normal fucking error message. Just for the record, I just completely guessed if that was a valid EGL thing. And it seems like he didn't like it. Okay, so how do, can we look at like create image thing? So what are my like attrs allowed to be here on this thing? EGL create image. Texture level. doesn't exist. EGL texture level is, so that's why the mipmap we use is the EGLImage source. So he said 8, right? Caller set 0. Last level was 8, caller set 0, but I set 8 here. Don't make MIPS on the client side. Should I be sending those things from the query I get to the server? Yeah, I should, but I don't want to do that yet. Because it's just like more things to do before I understand like how this thing is supposed to work. I guess modifiers maybe is what we want to look at, maybe, but like this can only be one uint64. So I don't think that's going to be like things that I can pass into the attribute list. I don't make MIPS on the client side. Sounds like kind of true, right? I'm supposed to make my mipmaps, generate mipmap here before sending. Oh yeah, I do. So I do that. I do that right here. Generate mipmaps. So here our texture parameters are the same here as we have them here. But also like at this point, there's no texture binding yet at the time of image creation in EGL land. So we might have to specify somewhere something. What happens if I set 0 here? Just to show the two options that he said. Can we look for like metadata has last level here? Caller has this. Don't generate them so the driver does not get mad. That seems reasonable. Like you're saying just like fuck this shit. I'm not really sure. I always get confused about like mip mapping. Okay, so that's, it didn't get mad that time, but I think that if I don't do this, I think if I don't do that, it doesn't work. Oh wait, maybe it does work. Okay, let's go back to the client side. I just want to make sure that here, if I don't generate the mip maps, and we just kind of allow ourselves to like do our normal loop here on the client side. Neither of these guys has like the mango anymore. This is before the thing is generated, no. But like it seems to have metadata about the buffer from the other side, right? Like it seems like what happened, if I understand correctly, there is like process 1 over here, process 2 over here. This guy creates like a texture with, you know, mipmaps, right? And he then like bundles this thing up into an image, which gets like a file descriptor. And all of this is kind of connected to like AMD GPU under the hood, right? And so I think what happens is like this file descriptor gets linked to all this information that AMD GPU has. And then on the other side, we're trying to like re-import, and he's like, what the fuck? I'm supposed to have mipmaps here, right? Is like my understanding of what's happening. And like, but like we're not like reinstantiating with the correct parameters, and he's getting mad at us. That's my understanding of what's happening. I just wanted to see. So if I always struggle with this like mipmap thing. Sure, but making mipmaps is GL, not EGL. Yes, but the GL side, we generated them already. And so the EGL side, to make the image out of, the image is going to turn, like the image is like an abstraction around the texture. for like on like system resources for the texture, if that makes sense. And so like there he needs to his parameters need to match what we made the texture with, right? In the same way that we created our texture as RGBA and then created an EGLImage of him, he's kind of like implicitly looking inside the texture and being like, oh, this is an RGBA texture, 8-bit RGBA, right? If we allocated like a 32-bit float RGB texture in OpenGL APIs, I think that would transfer to the EGLImage abstraction. I think. Okay, so we do confirm here that if we create the bitmaps, we get a thing. So I can't remember. Can you like OpenGL texture 0 bitmap? I think there's like a way to do this. I just can't remember how to like disable them. This has bit me so many fucking times. Wait, that's what I did. I have that. So we bind the internal texture ID. GL generate map is needed. Do I have to call GL generate map? I thought there's a way to avoid it. Okay, once you have an image loaded to texture memory, you have to call GL a second time to actually fill the smaller levels down some limits. Your wrist right. It's called every frame. Yeah. Maybe look at Bang G. I was under the impression that you could fully disable bitmaps. I was really under that impression. Right? Because like this is the only place it's called. But here, when we don't turn them on, then we get like complete black on this. Oh, I think you have to set the number of levels to like 1. Okay. Max level. This sounds familiar to me. Can we look for this? And max level. So I think we just set this to 1 so that it can't ever go below. So it can't ever try, you know? No, still no bueno. Still no bueno. So just confirming again, I call this yeah. No bueno. No bueno. So just oh wait, this is even with this on again though. So hold on. Let's disable this. Let's try to get back where the client at least was working. So server here, client here. So here the client is correctly displaying our texture. He's happy. Now if I turn off bitmapping on texture ID, which is the texture after we go in and out of EGLImage. After we go in and out of EGLImage, client is still happy, okay? Now, if we disable this, if we set this on the parameter, the thing before we create an EGLImage, we need to run both server and client here. Now he's not happy for some fucking reason. Now he's not happy. Even though I'm generating bitmap. So what if I disable bitmap generation? You know? Also unhappy. Nothing. Nothing. So let's try disabling this internal texture ID thing altogether, so that we're working directly with the parent texture and then the like external texture. And then disable this like attempt to rebind this thing from the image that we generate. And then we will pass texture ID here. Let's see if this works. No bueno again. So not really a surprise. Not really a surprise. Is it max level 0? Is that what I want? Did I just fuck this up again? Could have. No, he's still unhappy. I'm missing a piece here for sure. I don't understand, but because I don't understand, can we just leave this max level thing with bitmaps on? Server, client. Okay, we're back to at least getting the thing. So it's we have a texture that we're trying to pass with bitmap levels. And we should be able to EGL import that thing with bitmap levels. So can we look at, well, what does this guy's example do? He has no bitmap, so oopsies. Does he set those like text parameters for min filter and mag filter? Oh, he tries to interpolate between things, which might make us unhappy. So he sets nearest. And that's the only thing he sets on there. So let's try that. Because it could be that's trying to interpolate between two things, even if I set the minimum level to low. So we're still going to generate the bitmaps for now, just to make sure. Okay, green, good, chilling. Now, no generate bitmaps, please. Server, client. No, we're still back to it not working. I'm missing a piece here. Oh, now can we set the maximum? And what are the expected values here again? Sets the index of the highest defined bitmap level. This is initial values on 1000, and then base level. Initial value is 0. Just one more attempt here. Yeah, still nothing. And then what if I call bitmaps? Which again, I don't think should do anything. Yeah, I'm missing something obvious here. I fucking hate this shit where I always struggle with textures not doing what I want them to do. Texture black bitmap, like OpenGL. From 0 to 3, however you set the max level to 4. In this case, it would be 3. So yeah, so he's trying to generate the bitmap levels himself. That's fine. I like understand that. Text image 2D. What does my GL text image 2D call look like? Target level. So I'm calling this on level 0. I'm setting level 0. I don't understand why. So like something is triggering it to use a bitmap level that I don't support, right? If I'm uploading this thing at level 0 and it's rendering black, does that mean that this max level? Can we look at the min filter and mag filter parameters? Bitmap is ordered, so can I just like fully fucking disable this shit? Returns the value of the texture element that is nearest to specified texture coordinates. Linear bitmap, choose the bitmap that most closely matches the size of the pixel. So nearest and linear can be faster than the other four. There's only one. They are sample only one or multiple texture elements to define. Okay. Texture magnification function is used when the level of detail function is used when sampling from the nearest determines that the texture should be magnified. It sets the texture magnification function to either GL nearest or GL linear. Nearest is usually faster and can produce textured images. You have it disabled, but then why am I not drawing anything? Like I'm missing something. I'm definitely missing something. So let's try to dodge the like in and out of the image again. I don't think that should do anything. Actually, let's do it this way. The easiest way to do this is we just say image texture ID is equal to internal texture ID. I think that should at least dodge the in and out of EGLImage. Now I'm so fucking annoyed. It seems like it should be so easy. And it's literally just this, right? Yeah, it's literally just the set of max level here is causing the bitmaps like this is causing just having some behavior that I don't understand. I don't understand. I think it's interacting with EGL in some way. I don't think that. I know I've struggled with this before. Anyways, I guess we're just going to go back to trying to do this with bitmaps. Because clearly I don't know how to disable them. It's fucking frustrating. I understand that. But I don't really have like the ability to research this and experiment enough right now to get something that will work quickly. So let's just try to make sure that we are back in a good state. Client is drawing fine, but here he is saying, hey, I see some bitmaps. So invalid bitmap texture import. So where does this come from? Num bitmap levels gets called, pushed as a parameter here. Is my indexer not set up? Seems like it should be. Oh, but maybe AMD GPU isn't compiled in my version of this. So let's do grep this. This is coming from way too high up. Num bitmap levels. So I guess we look at the attrs thing again. Our attributes that we're passing to our server side thing. So GL texture level 8. Kujuju, thanks for the braid. What's up, you guys? What's up? We raid Kujuju every once in a while. Kuju, sorry. He's working on a kind of like fun game. In Jai. Fun game in Jai. Okay, so he's mad because he's saying like texture level no matter what I set for this parameter, he's still getting 0 all the way down. Let's just kind of like try to change places where we're seeing 0, because we're fucking shooting in the dark at this point. That actually did it. Oh no, he wants buffer not null. He wants buffer not null. So this needs to be null. How's your project going today? Not too bad. We're a little struggling a little bit. We're trying to share EGL buffers with DMA buff, and we're struggling a little bit, but we've gotten pretty close, I feel like. We have sent a file descriptor over the end, and now we're struggling, or over from one process to another, that's supposed to represent a texture in EGL land, and we are just struggling to set it up correctly. So when we saw... Okay, can we look for like... Someone might extend the attribute list, which is kind of annoying. We tried asking Claude or ChatGPT. Thanks, man. That's helpful. Yeah, it feels like the AMD GPU driver is mad about the metadata. So I want to know if there's like, if people are extending this thing, right? So in this import, DMA buff import thing, we do have like extra attributes that are being added here, right? None of these really look like mip-mapping stuff, but I worry that someone else is extending that. You know what I mean? So it'd be kind of interesting to see like, so EGL width and EGL height, these are just fucking like defined like in the middle of nowhere. Fuck. And also like when we look at this, we don't see EGL width in here, right? So who defines that this is a valid attribute here? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? EGL create image KHR. Maybe this is what we're looking for. Does this guy have like EGL width? No. Atters. These are issues with the extension. Can we do like a EGL info again? Let's go like over here somewhere. Mesa demos. Mesa demos. Let's take a look over here. And do EGL info and see if we have like... Okay. Import modifiers. Sounds interesting. Although none of this looks like they're saying that we can throw width in here. Image base. I wonder if this is another thing that we could look at. Texture level. Target parameter, texture 2D KHR. Texture level KHR. So I wonder if these KHRs are different. What does KHR even mean? You know, what is this? I don't really know, but I wonder if like he's maybe could be mad that we're not matching. Chronos. Oh, okay. Bum 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 bum. Yeah, I'm confused about. So let's. I wonder if we can like convince ourselves that this EGL width and EGL height thing. Like if I say like 128 here. He does just say failed now. Versus if I said it correctly. He does give us like a different error log, right? So there is at least some confirmation in there that EGL width and EGL height are parameters that we are supposed to put in there. Are you setting a texture level on the client's EGL image? Maybe not. But I was under the impression that when I do the client thing, like based off of this example that we've been looking at, on the client side, he doesn't really do anything special on the export side, right? When he calls create image, I guess he's not using KHR, which I guess maybe we only switched to KHR at some point because we were struggling with something else. I do want to try. I don't think that this really matters, you know. But let's just see. Oh, on the other side, we're not using KHR. I'm kind of curious though. Not that I really understand what the difference is, but I mean it's the same. It's the same shit. Same shit. But when he's on the other side, he just says 0 for export, right? But he's also not generating bitmaps, as you mentioned. And when you say how's he generating bitmaps, his only calls to text parameter are here. So maybe that could be also something that we could try, is just completely disabling any text parameters that don't match what he's doing. So he calls min and mag to nearest, and he doesn't do the other thing. Although I don't think that should matter. And then he doesn't generate bitmaps. But I mean, I think we tried this. And when we do this, we don't see our texture at all anymore. So I don't really understand. I don't understand why we're getting bitmaps on the client, to be honest. Like, texture, black, OpenGL, no bitmap. Like, am I missing some really obvious behavior here? I don't really believe that this is my problem. You know, God, I hate everything. I feel like we're just so close. All I want to do is like, well, I guess there's a possibility that like his driver doesn't really care. You can try to sample a specific level from the shader too. Oh, okay. If that's possible, how do I do that? Sampler, GL, OpenGL, GLSL, sampler, MIP level. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, this already says has MIP mapping no. So it seems like, Jesus Christ. It really feels like something on the import side, we're just doing something wrong. Well, I wonder what, let's look at the, can we look at the docs for EGL texture level again? Oh, wait, what's this bind text image? Oopsies. Texture level. Specify the bitmap level and, where applicable, Z offset. If EGL level is non-zero, target buffer is not the name of a complete GL, it would say bad parameter. Is 0. And any bitmap levels other than bitmap level are specified. Yeah, so I'm so confused. So, because if I set like anything here, I wonder if like the ordering matters. It shouldn't, but maybe just like in case. Yeah, because he's saying last level caller set 0. And I just feel like I'm missing something really obvious. I would also check to remove every call to EGLImage as mentioned. They could be interacting in weird ways. I just don't want to. I just don't want to. It seems like a lot of work. Let's do like Git add EGL wayland. And I guess we could fucking try it. Because we believe that in the client path, we do this stuff. We say texture ID is equal to internal texture ID, right? So all we do here is we set these texture parameters. By setting nearest, we believe that we are turning off mip mapping according to that document. Then we don't call generate mip maps. This should work. Okay, so that's good. That's good. Now, if we go, the claim here is that if I go through this EGLImage stuff, it stops working. That's actually working okay too. So now let's go back through, we re-enable everything. Re-enable everything. And we go server here, client here. Now, hold on. We forgot to comment this out. Server, client. Back to double black. So, but that was, maybe it was after export that we hit problems. So this was fine. Interesting. Okay, okay. So this is a good clue. This is a good clue. You were right. I was wrong. Yeah, so as soon as we query it, if we just call this on our image, then he's unhappy. What if we do this after? What if we do that after? Yeah, still no good. So it looks like just calling export DMA buff. Oh, I wonder if exporting it is somehow forcing some sort of like mip-map to turn on. No, because even when we export it now, this version of the code, where mip mapping is completely disabled, actually succeeds on both sides, but shows nothing. Right? So there's kind of a surprise difference there. A surprise difference. So this is surprising to me that this has any effect on the behavior. So this extension allows creating for a Linux DMA buff file descriptor or multiple file descriptors in the case of a multiplane YV image from an EGLImage. Okay. It is designed to provide the complementary functionality to EGL buff import. In the YV is only if it's multiple things. Okay. So this is used to retrieve the pixel format of the buffer specified by DRM4CC, the number of planes in the image, and the Linux DRM modifiers. They may all be null. I wonder what like modifiers is here. The second entry point retrieves the DMA file descriptors, strides, and offsets for the image. The caller should pass arrays sized according to numplanes values retrieved previously. Passing arrays at the wrong size will have undefined result. Okay. Sure. So can we look at the other side again, the import side? So he said that this is supposed to mirror this. So does this have this like modifiers? No. So I'm really confused about what this modifiers field is for. It kind of makes me think that it might actually be an input. I mean, it says it's an output though, right? And the Linux DRM modifiers. Sorry, so is used to retrieve the pixel format of the buffer as specified by DRM4CZ, the number of planes in the image, and the Linux DRM modifiers. Yeah, okay. And then just calling that function at all breaks our usage of this. Very strange. There's a comment about ownership in the last part of error docs, export docs. Does ownership of the file descriptor remain with the app? Yes. The app is responsible for closing any FDs retrieved? Sure. Should the API look more like an attribute getting API? No. If the number of planes, yeah, so this is like, this makes sense. So it's just like we own the file descriptor, not the texture. Yeah. So this is more confusing that like, can we double check here? So we're going through the EGLImage right now when we display on the client side with this like bind texture thing. Can we just like copy the, can we just like say texture ID is equal to like internal texture ID? Oops. Oops, this doesn't work like I thought it would. For some reason. For some reason. Make server client. Oh, this is the client side popping up. So yeah, so even just using the texture without going through EGLImage is still broken. Just because we called this. Just because we called this. Very interesting. I wonder if like, I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer. This is very strange. Very strange. I don't feel like we've done anything crazy wrong here. I don't feel like it. I want to go back to trying to figure out who determines that EGL width and EGL height are part of this API. Is it possible to close the FDs to complete the transfer somehow? But here we don't even have any file descriptors, right? By calling this, we have it. We've just only asked what could you do down there, right? And again, like we knew it worked when mip mapping was on. So I kind of want to, or at least when we called generate mip maps, was that the difference? Was that the difference? Yes, it was. Okay, so that's interesting as well, right? So in the case here, generate mip maps, even though we are not supposed to have mip mapping enabled, right? According to this wiki page somewhere about mip mapping, there was a table here that said using GL nearest has no mip mapping, right? So we are using GL nearest, except we have to call generate mip maps if this function is called. If this function is not called, then it's fine. So there's something weird going on there. Something weird going on there. Now, I want to go back to sending the thing over the edge. So maybe I could be completely misunderstanding the mipmap API. Very much could be. Because now he's saying that he has mipmap texture input port. And this is where it's like, that's why I want to find this EGL width, because I might just be missing some important parameter that I'm not setting that I don't even know exists. So I think I want to go and like just kind of like look for this in combination with EGLCreateImage. Maybe somebody will tell me. So I'm just double checking it. Like EGL width, not anywhere in this document. This guy's like, hey, I'm failing, but he's got no help because, you know, he's probably asking a stupid question. EGL create image attributes. You know, okay, let's start deleting some of these fucking tabs because I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. Width. So again, not in here. So I'm really confused about like who says this is okay. Oh, here. This is where he defines it. If this is related to the import, DMA buff import. Okay. So does this talk about MIP? Map? No. Level? No. But maybe we should read this spec a little bit closer. So, additions to chapter 2 of the EGL specification. Values accepted for target are now include this. If this, DP must be a valid display, this must be no context, and buffer must be null, cast to the type of EGL client buffer. The details of the image are specified by the attributes passed into the EGL create image KHR. Required attributes and their values are followed. Width and height. 4cc ext, plane 0 file descriptor, plane 0 offset, plane 0 pitch. We got all of those. For images in RGB color space, or those using a single plane YUV format, only the first plane's file descriptor, offset, and pitch should be... Wait. Hold on. This has nothing to do with what I just read. We turn this off, right? Nobody complains. Right? Nobody's complaining. But we know that we have to call that for it to work. So what if we do it on the other side after we fucking bind the image? Here. Fuck. Journey maps can be making copies that interact really with EGL. Yeah, I agree. Did we... Do I have to set this like here? Maybe? Still no. And then I wanted to try this as well. Okay, so all of this makes sense, right? It stopped. It makes sense to me that if we have to call generate bitmaps for it to display on this side, then we have to call it before. So okay. I just want to look at the error message again. Caller set 0. I guess it makes sense to Spelunk the source code, huh? It's really kind of the only way. So I just don't really know where it would come from. Probably like here. This is from Vulkan, so probably not here. So it's probably the only other usage of this guy. So in SI texture, here we go. So this is coming from num bitmap levels here, B last level. This is a lot of stuff, so that's not helpful. But we do now have call hierarchy, which is a big win for us. So resource from memobj, it looks like is where we're going in. And he's getting his last level here from text buffer. So SI texture comes from here. Okay, so this is coming from, geez Louise. So we are looking for, where the fuck were we? AC surface apply UMD data. In Radeon SI texture from Windsys. Okay, so this is AMD specific code related to copying the surface from our system buffer. Got it. He's saying in this function, the error we are seeing, I already forgot. It's invalid bitmap texture import. And the 8 is coming from last level. So desk last level. Which kind of looks hard coded. Maybe. And num bitmap levels, which is passed in. So what is passed in is the caller, but metadata is what was provided by the texture. Okay. Dude, how much longer do I go on this? I feel like we haven't made progress for a while. We're way past normal end time. And I don't really know that I'm going to find the answer in a reasonable amount of time. Which is kind of annoying. Definitely annoying. I would love to have got there. I would have loved to get there. But I think we are struggling, and it makes sense to take a break. So I think I'm going to call it there. I apologize. We didn't quite make it. We made it pretty far, though. We definitely have proof that we are sending a DMA buffer between processes. And it just feels like we're so close, like one fucking small item away from getting it to share correctly. But I think we have to call it here. It's 5:30. We still don't know if that guy's code actually works. That's true as well. So I think we have to call it. I might experiment off stream. I might not. We will see. And I think we call it there. So thank you for watching, guys. I hope this was still fun. If you like what you saw, we stream most days at around 2 o'clock Pacific time to around 4 o'clock Pacific time. It is 5:30 Pacific time now because we were fucking frustrated, right? But we still didn't get there. So we will be back tomorrow. What else? If you're watching on Twitch, there is a YouTube link in the Twitch description where you can check out other things we're working on. Organized into playlists. If you are watching on YouTube, you could swing by and say hi on Twitch if you want to participate. If, what else do I plug usually? Dude, my brain is fried. If you want to see Happy Hour, where we do kind of like attempted, less focused, kind of more kind of chill work, you can swing by at the 12:32 segment or check out the archives on YouTube members or Patreon. I think if you want like notifications but when we go live, those are on Discord. And if you want to see code for this, it will end up eventually in GitHub. So all of that is the usual plugs. Goodbye, YouTube and Twitch. Let's find someone to raid.